going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes want to welcome Mario Bautista to the show. He's got a big fight that he just signed on to at UFC 321 in October in Abu Dhabi. He's going to be facing Umar Nurmagomedov. Big fight, Mario Bautista. They just keep getting bigger and bigger, huh?
Yep. Yeah. The higher you climb up, the better they're getting. So I'm happy with it.
And you just fought a guy that about a year ago, many people were saying could be the best bantamweight in the world, Patchy Mix. He had won a Grand Prix at Bellator. He won a title at Bellator. He had beaten former champs. You beat him, but geez, man, this sport's unforgiving in the sense that, no disrespect to him, he hasn't been part of the UFC. Umar has, and he came close to beating the champ. So just that climb, that competitiveness in your division is amazing.
Yeah. No, definitely through the top 15. Like it just gets to a game of inches, you have a few finishes outside the top 15, and you come in and then, everyone's just a little bit more competitive and a little bit more evenly matched, but I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for the next challenge. And like you said, he just fought for the belt, and he gave Morab a pretty good fight. So I think this will kind of tell me you know, where I'm at and where I deserve to be.
Do you have the bodies at your gym to mimic Umar Nurmagomedov and the way the Dagestanis like to fight? And to be fair, Umar and his brother Usman actually like to strike a little bit more than the other guys, but they all seem to have that tool in their arsenal, and it gives a lot of people fits.
Yeah, no, I have, all the trust and faith in my team. And people forget, the MMA Lab, our core is we're pretty good grapplers. We have grapplers come from everywhere. NCAA finalist Bryce Meredith. You have Ezra Elliott, who's just been killing it as far as when it comes down to jiu-jitsu and grappling. We have a lot of bodies, and we have some of the best strikers. You have Marcus McGee, who just went 3 rounds with Peter Yan. So yeah, I have complete faith, and I feel we're going to come up with a good game plan for this.
Here's why I ask. I don't want you to think I'm being disrespectful, but like what Usman did to Buckley a few months ago, man, that was impressive. That had to be experience. Obviously, he's talented. He's a former champ with 5 title defenses. So, respect, right? But then you see, DDP, and I'm not saying he wasn't prepared for Khamzat Chimaev. He just looked unprepared because I think what he focused on was if I'm on the ground, I don't want to get submitted or whatever. But he had problems with just the takedown itself. And so we're all sitting at home going, man, was there a lack of preparation? Did they not take it as serious? You know what I'm saying? That I guess that's why I'm getting at. Now, I love hearing that you got high level wrestlers that are part of your camp already, but that's why I was wondering.
No, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I think even Buckley said that he didn't really have wrestlers come in for that, or he wasn't doing what he was supposed to. DDP, man, that was just a complete wipeout. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened with DDP on that part. But luckily for me, there's kind of a game plan in set. What Marab was able to do. You just have
Yeah.
to be a great grappler yourself and actually threaten the grappling, back. So that I think that kind of evens things out. If a wrestler's just being offensive the whole time, he's winning and he's not really worried about anything else. Oh, am I going to get taken down? So you kind of have to put that into their head too. It's very taxing on their body, and we've seen it. With Umar, he kind of gassed out towards the end there. So blueprints out there.
Yes, and I'm glad you used that word because I was going to do that. So I kind of challenged you a little bit on the first set of questions, but now I'm going to kiss your ass a little bit. I think Umar and Habib and those guys are going, hold on a second. Do we have a cardio machine like Mario Bautista? And what he did to Patchy Mix, it was nonstop, significant strikes all 3 rounds. So we know you can do that. Do you feel like they're prepared for, I guess, you're going to take a little bit of what you did in the Patchy Mix fight, and then also what the champ did, Marab did to Umar in tiring him out. Also, his brother Usman, he got challenged by Paul Hughes. I don't know if you watched PFL,
Mhm.
same thing, So there's something to they're not invincible either.
Yeah, no, we definitely don't think they're invincible, and they're great grapplers. They're all good, Usman's the champion over there. But it could be just, Khabib is just, an outlier, and is just that great. And like, so everyone kind of expects the rest of them just to be like that, which isn't the case. Um, but but yeah, we're gonna get ready for this fight. I think we have all the tools, all the guys to get ready for this. And who knows? I don't expect this camp to be a good one for him, because I have, someone like Khabib is probably just gonna straight push him, like just because what happened in the last fight. Okay, you had that problem. We're gonna push you hard. So I don't think it's gonna be a good camp for Umar there.
Does part of you almost wish this was 5 rounds instead of 3?
Yeah, because I think it was supposed to be that originally, and so I like that, because one, I get to test myself and have a 5 round fight before we start getting into these big ones. We're already there, but just to have that challenge, and then just seeing what I seen on when he fought Marab, I think it would just definitely work in my favor. So, but um, nonetheless, it's still I'm still pretty confident.
You sort of may have answered what I was just about to ask you, because you just said we're already there. And I think that's something that George and I on our radio show have constantly said. Look at the hit list that you're putting together, and how you've put it together. Do you feel like a win here gets you a shot?
I think it has to. If you look at it, it's going to be 9 straight wins, and and my you know, getting this win in my last 3 performances, Aldo, Apache, and then, Umar, 9 fight win streak. I don't know. I don't know what else you could possibly do. And I think that's exactly what Marab had. Marab had, I think, a 9 fight win streak, and he had to, really fight for that title shot. So hopefully he sees that, and gives me that same kind of grace, and we'll figure something out.
Of this hit list that you've put together, do you feel like this guy might be the toughest guy that you've had to face? Because all due respect, I mean, if you look at some of the guys you've been through, they're no joke either.
Yeah, your next fight is always going to be your toughest fight. You have to have that kind of mindset, because it doesn't get easier. It's you go through the UFC, you think, okay, I'm going to have an easy fight, or the next one might be easy. For me, it hasn't really been like that, or I've never had that mindset. But just comparing him to the other guys is just kind of like a different challenge. I fought some good grapplers, Ricky Simone, probably a few other ones somewhere in there. I've gotten ready for wrestlers, had those camps. But this is just like a little bit more of a high profile one.
The challenges that Umar went through in the last fight, do you feel like those are things that can be fixed right away, overnight, in one camp? Or do you feel like that's stuff that maybe exposed them a little bit, things that you have to go back to the drawing board for, that take longer to fix?
Mm, I don't know. I guess that's just all. Everyone's kind of different, is that the kick in the butt that he needs to actually, do what he has to do in training? I'm sure he does well. Um, but or it could just be like that's his limit, that's the limit there, and he was just, and that's it. So I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Will Marcus McGee go out there with you?
No, I think Marcus is just gonna hang out here. Actually, I think Jose Delgado's on the card as well, so we're gonna head out there. It'll be me, my corner, Yachty, Randy. I think Jose will take Ben out there, and then we might take one of the younger guys, a good grappler that we have. I think we might take him out there, and he'll be beneficial for both of us.
Coach Crouch?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Yep.
didn't hear his
Oh,
name, so I wasn't
oh
sure.
yeah. No, that's a given. I don't think I haven't gone into a fight without him. I don't think so. Yeah, he's gonna be there.
Is he like a second father to everyone a little bit?
That's what it seems like. I mean, definitely to me. He's been there since I was. I got there when I was 20 years old. I'm 32 now. So yeah, I would say so, and just I always laugh about it, because like some of the guys in there are knuckleheads, or some are late, or some have different things going on, and he's just always like on top of these guys, and it just reminds me of just like a busy dad.
Are you late?
No. I think we went over this. I try not to be. If I'm late, there's a good reason. I trust me. There's a good reason.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wasn't sure if I had asked you that before, but it came up, and I was just wondering if do you get
Yeah.
there like 15 minutes early, stretch out, get ready for the practice, or are you cruising in like with a minute left?
No, I usually get in a little bit earlier to either warm up or run our wrestling practices, because I gotta, obviously if you're running the practice, the warm up, you gotta be you gotta be on time, And I don't know, I kind of have like just I've always been like an anxious person when it comes to being on time kind of thing. I'm like, oh, we got to go now. All right, we got to pack up. We got to be there at the airport at this time. This and that. So that's just the way I am.
Mm-hmm. Are you a team captain?
I really don't call myself that, but yeah, coach says I'm one of the captains. And anytime like someone else comes into the gym, to check it out, or they want to move there, and they're there for like a week or two, he'll always tell them, just do what Mario does. Like how I have my schedule set up, he'll always tell them, just do what Mario does, and you'll be good, and run your schedule that way. So yeah.
What if someone new comes to the gym and they're a dick? Who's the green lighter?
Oh, we have a few
Is that
guys.
Mario Bautista as well?
Oh no, I wouldn't even waste my time with that. No, because you could I mean, you just don't want to hurt yourself in the process, of hurting or trying to, green light someone. But we have a few guys. Abdul, Abdul likes to go kind of hard. I think he's the Fury, or I don't think he is the Fury FC champion now.
Okay.
So he just won that belt. He's one of those guys. On Ho, who just fought for the Contender Series, he's kind of like that. So we have some guys, Alex
what was the second
Caceres,
guy's name?
On Ho.
Okay.
Antoine Ho. Yeah, he just fought for the Contender on Tuesday. He lost, unfortunately, but yeah, he's one of those guys.
See, right away, just hearing those names, Abdul and Antoine, right away, I think I'd be like, I don't want any problems. I'm sorry. Let me apologize to the whole team. I don't want to get greenlit. I'll be on time from now on. Those sound like tough names right there.
Yeah.
So. Hey, what if Starbucks told you we got a lucrative $1 million a year for the rest of your career? All right, but you got to change your name to Miguel the Bautista. No, Miguel the Barista Bautista. So you're no longer Mario Bautista. You're Miguel the Bautista or the Barista Bautista. Would you do it? Then you can change your name back once the career is over. But they
for $1 million a year,
so you gotta remove the U. So you're no longer Bautista. You're Bautista, so that it rhymes with Barista. And then at that point, they're fucking with you. They're gonna change their first name too to Miguel. Would you do it?
Probably. You can call me Miguel. I wouldn't care. I have $1 million every year for a little.
Well, it's not just me calling you that. Your license plate is going to say that. At the airport, we're looking for Mario, the Barista Bautista. Please come to the desk. Bruce Buffer's going to introduce you that way. Sorry, you're Miguel now.
Miguel, the Barista Bautista. That has a little ring to it.
It does. It's not bad, right? But then again, I don't know. I don't know what the money sitch is like. Maybe you're doing fine. You don't need that bullshit money, right?
Oh no, you could always take $1 million. Just be called something else.
Yeah. All right. No, I always make sure when we have guests on, I look at the name, try and say it a few times, and I always have to remember Bautista because I'm so used to maybe David Bautista from WWE or something. But it's Mario Bautista. I've never gotten that wrong. You're one of my favorite fighters, honestly, not just because you're here. I've said that for a long time. So it's just been, like Paul Felder, another guy. I just randomly, first time I saw him fight, I go, I like that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I like Paul Felder too. That's funny that you were saying that about the names because, since this fight got matched up, I'm like, dang, I'm gonna have to do all these interviews, and I'm gonna have to say Umar Nurmagomedov, and I know I'm gonna mess it up. And so it's just kind of stressing me out. So I'm just gonna
say Umar.
I'm just gonna say Umar.
And I call them Nurmi, and not out of disrespect. I just call him Nurmi. Like I think Nurmi's got a good shot at beating Ferguson or Iaquinta or McGregor, whoever.
I'm gonna have to take that Nurmi.
Nurmi,
Umar
yeah.
Nurmi.
Umar
Yeah.
Nurmi. Well, maybe not partner him. Maybe just Umar or Nurmi, but I don't know about Umar Nurmi.
Yeah, I'm disrespecting him at that point.
Yeah. Are you excited about fighting in the Middle East, by the way?
Yes, I think it's going to be, great to get out of the country, see some other fans, and see what that part of the world is like. Because I've never been out of the country, except once. I went to Mexico when I was 11. So as an adult, I haven't been out of the country, and I have the opportunity to go, on the other side. The only thing I'm not excited about is the flight, and then just the time difference and having to adjust to that. So those are my only concerns. And also, if you go to a decision over there, like with one of those guys, I don't know if it's going to be in your favor, especially if it's pretty close. So those are the only concerning thoughts.
I think the Vegas judges will make the trip. I'm pretty sure they do.
Is that how it works?
But yeah, you'll hear the familiar names, I think. But I understand what you're saying. Sometimes when you go to a state, if it's a judge that doesn't have as much experience, they tend to judge you off I think it was 2019 is when we kind of migrated over into more damage if you're striking and the attempt to finish the fight if you're grappling. I don't know if you know this or not, but if you get a takedown and do nothing with it, the judges are supposed to look at it as nothing happened. So you have to get the takedown and actually try a little bit of ground and pound or whatever. But that's what they say. I always feel like it's something, right? It should be like a jab or a leg kick, but that's how the rules are. And a lot of coaches and fighters aren't familiar with it. That's why they have that dumb look when they lose a split decision. You ever see that dumb look? I think they're saving face, but they're like, what? I was on top of them, but you weren't doing anything. And the other guy clocked you, wobbled your knees, and that was enough for those 5 rounds for him or her to own it over you who thought you were dominating. I'm not saying I completely agree. There's got to be something to the dominance, but man, it's damage. And it does get scary. You bring up a good point. It does get scary sometimes when a state or region of the world want to put their judges in because it is the UFC. They want to give them experience. So they're trying to do that. Yeah. Something to keep an eye on.
No, I think I've noticed that. I've seen a few fights, even like on the local scene or LFA fights, where a guy is on top, he's taking him down, the other guy pops up and it's kind of even, but you think, oh, the guy that took him down just laid on top of him is going to win, and then doesn't. They lose a split decision themselves. So I've kind of noticed that a little bit.
Well, you don't have to worry about that because that kind of output that you had in your last fight, that's hard to match, man. I mean, hopefully you saw Twitter reactions and things like that because a lot of people gave you respect for that type of output. That was incredible.
Yeah. No, I think they told me as soon as I got in the back, the media told me that out of all the fights up until that point, I think I had the highest significant strikes, that night and for a fight. So, yeah, no, it was pretty cool to see that, and I just, you go from one fight with a different style and then you go to a different fight and you have to, stay away from the guy. I'm just happy that I can be versatile,
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing the interview. As always, you still got a lot of time left. So I wish you the best with this training camp you have. Sure. Obviously the safe travels overseas, the weight cut, everything. Keep doing your thing, man. We love covering you and your career.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for having me on.